So it is time for the ElseViews. This is where we talk about the shows, comic books. Well, those are what we brought today. So that we have been wanting to talk about. Um, you want to do Rick and Morty first?
Yeah, Pickle Rick. Pickle Rick.
Because
Yeah,
I'm not
Pickle
gonna,
Rick.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna give you this because I am behind, but that's my own damn fault for being behind. So I
How
have
far behind so I don't spoil anything? Because
go for it. I do. It's at this point where
okay,
like spoiling
okay,
it. It's just gonna be. It's my own dumb fault because I have Hulu. I have access to season 2. I could get caught up and then watch season 3 as it's going on right now. It's just
yeah,
I
and they
choose
put them
not
out
to.
for free on it on
Yeah,
Adult Swim too. So I mean,
yeah. I
there's no
have.
excuse. There's no
Yeah, I
excuse,
have
sir.
no excuse. I am ashamed. I'm gonna go over in the corner now and cry.
That the Rock works out every day, and I'm sure he's caught up on Rick and Morty.
Yeah, he does it in between takes of Ballers.
Yeah, there. He'll be like, hold on, gotta watch my Rick and Morty,
I'm Pickle
doing a few
Rick, y'all.
curls. But no, so this week's episode had Pickle Rick, which was teased that long time ago with the trailer and everything, which basically Rick turns himself into a pickle. And I'll explain kind of on why he does that in a second, but it's just great because this new season has been kind of picking up where the last one left off. Beth and Jerry are separated. The kids are kind of dealing with it in their own way. And Rick's dealing with it in a unique way too, but this is going to be the darkest season from the April Fool's Day episode, the first episode where he's like, this is the darkest season. I want the Szechuan sauce, all that stuff. This season has been kind of having dark overtones to it at times. And Pickle Rick's great, but the whole reason he turns himself into a pickle is so he doesn't have to go to counseling. Because he agreed to go to counseling. And then he decides to turn himself. He's like, okay, I'll go. And this is something you don't know going into the episode. But then it's pointed out, like, Morty goes, Rick, did you turn yourself into a pickle so you could get out of counseling? He's like, no, Morty, I would not turn myself into a pickle to get out of counseling. That would just be terrible for me to do that. And then they're about to leave, and Morty points out that there is a syringe above him with fluid in it, and then there's like a timer set to 10 minutes after they leave to where the syringe would have like dropped on him. So Beth takes the syringe, and then Rick's left sitting there and kind of gets stuck in the sewer and goes to this adventure of like building himself like an exosuit out of first cockroaches, because he's a pickle so he can't move. But he basically kills a cockroach, rips open its head, uses its brain to move himself. Then when you cut back to him later, he's got more cockroaches to where he's able to move himself, and then makes a mouse-like exosuit so that he actually has arms and legs to use, and just beats up a ton of rats and stuff, and then breaks into a, like, I guess, I don't know if it's a drug lord or some building to where it's a ton of guys in suits trying to kill him. And he just goes through and kills them all. And the whole time it's cutting back and forth of them actually at the psychiatrist and them going over stuff. And Beth is obviously in complete denial of the fact of her father, is kind of being manipulative, and, they're like, what's in the syringe? And she's kind of putting all of her problems on everyone else the whole time, which like I said, the show's starting to get deeper with these characters' issues and stuff. And that's why I'm loving it. Cause I'm like, the Pickle Rick thing was great, but the stuff with the family was revealing a lot of stuff to where the kids were actually feeling like they were getting help from the psychiatrist with their problems. Yeah. But at the end of the episode, Beth and Rick are kind of completely non wanting to do anything about it, even though they both kind of got pointed out to them, everything that's going on with them and what they need to fix. And it was actually, truthful stuff. But the great thing was there was this whole battle between Danny Trejo is in it as a character named Jaguar, who was like this like Danny Trejo character.
Yeah.
Who's like a hitman, and him and Rick have this like shootout where Rick's like assembled a laser that uses AA batteries as like its ammunition. So he's like firing this laser. And then the Jaguar's got 2 Uzis, and it's just this whole fight between them, and it's great because it's just the like craziest thing in the world. and then it ends by them basically blowing up the facility because it was, had evil men in it. And then Rick kind of points out how kind of heartless he is too, because Jaguar's daughter's dead. And Rick points out, like, because the Jaguar's like, you need to go be with your family, you need to go be with your daughter and everything. I wish I had that opportunity to do it with mine. He goes, well, I have infinite daughters. I actually left the original one of them in like an alternate timeline, like that I destroyed basically. And then Jaguar's like, okay, well, good luck with that. And he stops and goes, wait a second, do I have infinite daughters? And he goes, no. That's just me. And it was such a great episode. It just had so many moments. And he's just yelling Pickle Rick every now and then too, which just made it great.
Yeah.
But no, I'm loving this new season. I'm loving it.
So, I mean, honestly, like I said before, it's just one of those things. Like I've fallen behind on them, and I'm like, oh, I'll get to them, and eventually, and all that. And now it's like, now that I have access to Adult Swim, I have, the time off of, where I'm not working all the goddamn time and trying to read comic books. He said, well, he has 31 comic books to read this week. That I will probably start, especially tomorrow, since I have tomorrow off. I will probably try to get caught up to where I'm at least in season 3. I know I don't have far to go. I think I was at episode 5 or 6 of season 2 where I ended up, but it's just one of those things. Like I've loved Rick and Morty. It took a friend of mine said, hey, you need to watch this, and this is after season 1.
It took me zero amount. Like it came on, and I was instantly like, done. Show me. In the famous words of the show, show me what you got.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Like it's not. It only took that long because I've lost faith in Adult Swim.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, Adult Swim, with it becoming family, like airing show episodes of Family Guy, which I hate. Like I used to love Family Guy, but not anymore.
I'm right there with you.
An American Dad, same thing. And it's just like different time. Yeah, I've fallen out of love with both of those shows. I love the Cleveland Show. I think the Cleveland Show probably could have gotten another season or 2 before I would have fallen out of love with it. And then the animes, I haven't been in them like I should have been. As like growing up, I got into anime through Adult Swim.
Oh, same here in Toonami.
Yeah, and it's just like now I'm just like, I watch other things. Like my original ElseView was going to be on Disney's DXP over on Disney XD, where it's more gaming focused stuff. It's basically G4 at from 9 o'clock to from 9 p.m. to 3 a.m. on Disney.
Remember Attack the Show?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, like old Attack the Show, like Kevin Pereira and Olivia Munn era Attack the Show.
Yep. Yeah, that's when I started. That's when I started.
X-Play.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned that because they have on the on there a show that's executive produced by Kevin Pereira and a couple of the other producers of Attack of the Show, called The Attack, and it's actually one that they do live.
Wow! I just thought that I just happened to see that keep popping up. I just thought they renamed Attack of the Show.
It's okay, sort of. So it's a rebranding, and it's a rebranding of Attack of the Show. They just called it The Attack. They started it out on Twitch. They still do the Twitch shows Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. And it's one of these things like, you watch it and you're like, okay, this is like, seems like it's a new thing. And it's when I was like, I fell in love with that show on there.
Yeah. I might have to check that out then.
Yeah. Through I'd watch it through YouTube. And then I saw the preview, like they're saying, "Oh, hey, we're coming to DXP," and I'm like, "What the fuck is DXP?
What's that?
Yeah,
what Mountain Dew drink is that?"
Yeah, and then doing more research. I'm like, oh wait, this actually sounds pretty cool. Like they've got quite a few shows in there. Like they've got some let's plays, and it's interesting at how they do this because um like it's hard with games and especially with this because they're trying to keep it family friendly.
Mhm.
Because there are a lot of let's plays on there. There's one of the shows on there is called Polaris Primetime, and it one of the creators, it's all people through Disney's Polaris network, or used to be Maker Studios,
Yeah.
that are that do let's plays for them, and one of them's what it's just Steven Septic Eye or something like that. Someone Septic Eye, I remember is his last part of his name. And he swears a little bit, so they censor it, and then on the attack they censor it, and if it's like they played some clips from like Call of Duty, and
Yeah.
they'll throw up a cat,
Oh,
when it comes to the parts. Yeah.
Okay, that can be funny.
Yeah, they did it with Dishonored. They showed a glitch where they were carrying a dead body. And there was a blacksmith who was just sitting there, doing the default animation
Yeah.
of, banging. They touch him to where the body, like he's moved away, throws the body on the table. He cuts back. He's banging the person in the balls.
Oh,
Like it's just a glitch. It's like a dead body just sitting there, and you just hear ting 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 as he's doing
it's
it.
got balls of steel.
Yeah, and then like he gets like the glitch fails, and so he gets like alerted, like, oh wait, I'm bashing this dude's balls in, and so they come up and kill him, like they like sword or whatever, and that's like a cat going and all that.
Nice.
It's this whole, and this wasn't gonna be my pick, but I guess it's
I was about to say, I was going to be like, I love how that wasn't your pick, but we're going at it full force.
Yeah. Well, we're both sort of doing too, so it's like, hey, we're cheating, whatever.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Polaris Primetime is another show that I recommend. There's a lot of let's plays and stuff on there. They had Will Wheaton on like episode 3 and all that, so it was really cool just to see all these YouTubers and celebrities, like mainstream celebrities, Clash, not Kalash. I don't know what that was.
Kalash.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, that's one thing to check out. It's on Disney XD in America, at 9 p.m. Till 3 a.m. Don't know about the internationals, so sorry. My other pick, and then I want to get to yours because I've also read your pick as well, your other pick.
And I'm very interested in your pick because I'm interested to know what this is.
So Edge of Venomverse.
From someone who read it. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Edge of Venomverse is a new limited series that's leading to a mini event series from Marvel, called Venomverse. So if you're familiar with the Spider-Verse thing that happened 3 years ago now, I believe.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
It's sort of like the Venom take of it. The big difference is where with that, with the Edge of Spider-Verse, where they did these brilliant stories. Gerard Way did one on the mech suit Spider-Man. This is where we got Spider-Gwen, and there was the horror themed comic, that was like, the what would actually happen if Peter Parker was bitten by a radioactive spider. This is sort of like that. I have issue number 4 here. This is actually each issue. It started with X-23 with Laura Kinney, then it went to Gwenpool, and then the issue 3 was with Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, which that was interesting as fuck.
Yeah.
Just because and it's each person in an alternate Marvel universe. So it's not the main 616, but it's these alternate universes. Gets you get some backstory with them, and then they come in, and then now they're possessed by the symbiote. This one right here, issue number 4 that I'm holding in my hands, is Old Man Logan. I've read the beginning of it, and I love the covers. So I've got the cover held up here, and the covers are so freaking awesome. But issue 3, so I've loved this so far, and issue 3 was the first one to actually allude to Venomverse.
Yeah, so I was about to say, are
Um,
they connected at all, or
they're
just kind of
so
just same themes, different worlds?
it's a little bit more same themes, different worlds. So it's similar. It has the similarities to the Edge of Spider-Verse event that happened a while, or the mini series that happened with, if you remember, with the Edge of Spider-Verse
Mhm.
things. Not every issue tied to the Spider-Verse event that was going to happen. The for example, the horror themed comic that it ended with Peter allegedly killing Mary Jane, the love of his life, because the hunger was too much for him. That was the whole like, and you go into the house and you see, oh, what happened to Uncle Ben and Aunt May? Well, oh, they're in those spider cocoon food saver thingies over there and stuff like that.
Reminds me
Yeah,
of Marvel Zombies, where he killed them too.
yeah, and so like with most of them, like, so I believe that it started with Spider-Man Noir, and then it was Spider-Gwen, and I think the horror one was issue 4. But like a lot of them preluded, like there was this overarching story skipping the horror comic,
Yeah.
because it just sort of ended and all that. And then I think there was another one that did it too. So it was like those three, they all tied together, and then there was another one that was just sort of like a one and done story. Oh no, it tied in because the guy died by the villains of Spider-Verse. So this one, we've sort of had that with the Robbie Reyes one, which was one of the most interesting stories out there, because you have Robbie Reyes, Ghost Rider, possessed by both Venom, like, so the symbiote, and the Spirit of Vengeance, and
Hmm.
they're sort of like, well, we're going to work together because the Spirit of Vengeance feeds off the soul, Venom feeds off the body. Robbie Reyes is just there as meat flesh, sort of deal. Like there's this one scene in this one part in the book where they cut to, or like, I believe it was like a sonic scream or whatever, and it triggered Venom's weakness of
Yeah.
and they split apart, and it's this cool, like, you see this cool tie of like, okay, here's Venom over here, and here's the Spirit of Vengeance, and Robbie Reyes is like, please stop killing people, like trying to plead with them before they come in, like, shut
Come
up,
back and
bitch.
then just, yeah.
Yeah. But it's been such a great story. I'm actually looking forward to the Venomverse, and hopefully this will give me a good kickstart to get back into Venom, because I love, okay, I'm weird in this because where I respect the Flash Thompson, or not Flash Thompson, Eddie Brock Venom.
Yeah.
I'm a bigger Flash Thompson Agent Venom fan than I am.
I will agree with you to a certain extent. The reason I'm drawing this out is because I like certain elements, but Flash Thompson being Venom was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
like,
and I mean, I like characters to change too. So that's the
yeah,
problem. I'd love to be Eddie Brock again, but I
which
feel
it
like
is
his
not.
character has done so much stuff.
Yeah, and I
So
mean, and Eddie Brock was also, I believe he was also anti Venom too.
yeah, he was for a
So
while.
it's one of those things, like, I mean, I loved the fact that Brian Michael Bendis, when Agent Venom was with the Guardians, actually fleshed out Venom's origin
Yeah.
and all that. That was cool. The Planet of the Clintars.
Yep.
That was so freaking cool. So much to where I think the reason why I quit going, reading it, was because when they did the Venom book, and it wasn't Flash Thompson, it was this Mike DaCosta or whatever, where it was an interesting concept of a flip where the symbiote just wants to
It
help.
found a balance. It found
Yeah,
a balance in itself to where it wasn't psychotic and murdering.
no, it
But then,
wasn't. He was.
yeah, but then now it's kind of corrupting it instead, as
Yeah,
opposed to what it normally does.
yeah, exactly. But I guess it only lasted for a couple issues, and then he's now back with Eddie Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, because they went to the legacy numberings with 150, so that's where it went back with Eddie and all that. But I don't know. I'm really excited for Venomverse. I read like the first 4 pages of issue 4 of Edge of Venomverse, and it's already looking really good. So yeah, I will be so excited once that gets started. And honestly, once Marvel Legacy gets started, that's the other part.
Yeah, I'm interested in to see where that goes, and I'm kind of interested in this whole Avengers 1 million BC.
Yeah, that looks
Yeah,
pretty
I was
cool.
about to say, have you seen that yet?
Yeah, I've seen some of the artwork for that. It's like that, and which I mean, it was freaking cool. You got Ghost Rider on
On a
like,
mammoth, on a
yeah,
freaking mammoth. That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah. But okay, enough talking about Marvel. I want to talk about that book that's right behind you, Sarah. I want to talk elsewhere.
All right.
Because as I was talking about this like all last week in my head, I'm like, ElseNerds, no, that's not it. Like, it's
Yeah,
not your show made into a comic book.
I picked up the first issue. It was out 2 weeks ago now. No, last week. Sorry, my bad. My bad. It was out last week, and I picked up the first issue of it, and I am immediately in love with it. To kind of give a brief, and I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil the ending to it.
Okay, so here we'll do this. We'll do this because I do want to hit on that a little bit.
Okay.
We are going to give. This is the only other time we're going to give a spoil. We're going to do spoiler free, and then we're going to do spoiler. I will give the warning when we're going to do spoilers. So if you do not want to know the ending, which I recommend, I'm honestly recommend. If
yeah. This is a recommend.
This is because, like, if you want to come in this clean, the basic premise is this is what happened. This book takes place in what happens to Amelia Earhart after she went through the Bermuda Triangle. That's the art. Like, you can speak to the art and stuff, but
yeah.
I mean, and on my side, I love the art. I love the writing. You know, I loved everything about this book, and that is as spoiler free as I can get.
I think you hit the nail on the head with this. I enjoy kind of, the paranormal stuff here and there and everything like that. So I'm familiar with Amelia Earhart. I'm familiar with another development that takes place in this, which we will get to during the spoilers. We'll get to that. But Jay Faber, who is the writer of this, is also did one of my other favorite comics from Image, which is Copperhead. Which I have loved Copperhead. We actually had him on the show to discuss Copperhead. So I was really excited when I found out he was doing this. And me and Ellie will be doing a more in-depth discussion ourselves on our show on Monday with maybe a special guest joining us. But that being said, I'm sure it's spoiler time now.
Yes, so let's spoil away. Because
right.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna let you do the spoiler. I had to Google after I got there. I'm like, wait,
you had to Google who DB Cooper was?
Yeah, I knew, I recognized the name, but I'm like, wait, it was one of those things like, why does this sound so familiar? And so I'm like, okay, I just fuck it, put me out of my misery. I'm like, oh, he's the dude who flew the plane, hijacked the plane.
He hijacked the plane, got money, and then vanished.
Yeah. And
that's okay, sorry. That's the real world story.
Yeah. That's the real world story. In this
now, in the comic form, we're assuming that happened, but he just appeared there.
Yeah. So
he's there because she thinks it's her navigator.
Yeah.
And it's not. And he's like, hey, I'm DB Cooper. And so I'm sitting there, and I seriously had the book open, closed it, looked up, kind of sat there for a second, opened it back to the page, read it again, and I was like, nope, I read that correctly. So I'm like, where is this going to go? Because this place must exist at a time too, wherever this elsewhere place they're at, because those are years apart from each other. A good ballparking off the top of my head, 30 to 40 years apart from each other, those two events. So I'm interested because I'm like, well, what's going on? I mean, I was interested to know what was going on because it doesn't explain yet really what's going on.
No, yeah. So this is, in my opinion, this is a great setup issue. Hitting the nail on the head of what you should expect with this with this world they are creating here. I love the fact, because it's very Doctor Who, where
yes. Very.
There's a part in there where Amelia goes, wait, why are you guys speaking English? And they're like, no, we're speaking Cladacian or the alien creature race. She's like, but wait, and then like they both recognize the word plane. Like, okay, plane is not something from their language, but they've heard it before. And and she's like, oh wait, plane, I know about that. That's how I
mine.
got here. That's mine, and stuff like that. Good God, one, I'm jealous of you that you're actually going to be interviewing Jay again.
Oh, you're revealing the secret.
Oh, sorry,
Yeah,
that was the
it's
spoiler.
fine. It's
fine. But I mean, because that, like, I've nerded out over very few things with people.
yeah.
Like the last thing that I really nerded out and almost like where I should be ashamed of myself was nerding out over professional wrestling with Joey Image and all that. And I'm like it's like, okay, done. Like it's a 3-hour show. We need to cut this because I've got to get sleep, but I want to talk more wrestling with you. I would probably do the same thing with this. Like, just tell me what's gonna happen.
I don't know if I'm gonna try to get some stuff out of him. We're also gonna be discussing, of course, Copperhead's coming back soon, and that if you want to talk about endings to stuff, the recent arc end. I don't know if you followed that at all, or if anyone follows that just had like a moment where I'm sitting there and I'm like, really? So it was the end of the third arc with Copperhead, and there's been something that's been teased that since the first arc, which it's now possibly coming to fruition. But you don't know because it just has one panel where it's like there.
Okay, that is cool. I think so how many issues have they done of Copperhead?
15 or 14. I'm just ballparking it off the top of my head.
Okay. Because that I might try to. I think I might pick up the trades.
Pick up the trades. The new one, volume 1 and 2 are out. Volume 3 will be out in September, and the artwork for the first 2 are done by Scott Galactic, and then they've switched it up to somebody else for a little bit. But we just had Scott on as well because he on our show because he did a run on Superman. Which we wanted to talk about that. He did Superman this summer. He did 3 issues, which was very cool. He's going to be returning to Copperhead after the next arc, but he's also, not only will he be drawing, he will be also doing some of the writing for it as well.
Oh, that is
cool.
Since
Jay's doing Elsewhere, he also writes for The Zoo, which is a CBS show. They kind of like I said, I'm going to talk to Jay about it, get his side of it. But no, it was just really cool because I really enjoyed that. I've been able to interview both the creators, but Drew Moss is the one who did the artwork, and he picked up very well where Scott left off. So it was very cool to have that very natural flow with the way the comic was done to kind of move from one artist to the other for the time being. So I really enjoyed that choice in Copperhead. Sorry, no, we were talking about Elsewhere, but I feel like all of them tie together for me.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I love about this because my picks tend to flow, like have this arching flow with them, where I'll get off track on something, but it'll be something that's related to the other thing. So and this is going to be great because I get in ruts with the comic book recommendations. Like I'll be like, oh, this is a new number 1. I'll recommend this. I don't know if I'll actually read it. The big exception, obviously, being this week with Mr. Miracle.
Oh everyone's been talking about that.
I've been so excited about that, mainly because of the fact that Tom King is writing it, and I'm like, all right, I'm sold on this just for that part alone, and then it's also because it's the creative team, like him and the artist, Mike Gerards, did Sheriff of Babylon, and I love that art style with it. So I'm like, sold. But yeah, so I believe and we'll have links to Copperhead and Elsewhere and Edge of Venomverse and Rick and Morty in our show notes. So you can just click follow, go there, find the links, purchase the comics. Please purchase the comics. Support.
Yes, definitely support.
Yeah, this is the biggest thing I can always say. This is actually the tagline that I do for the comic book part of the comic book recommendations. Go find your local comic book shop. Comic book shop locator, comicshoplocator.com, I believe will find, you put in your area code and it'll find you the closest the comic book shop, and go start a pull list, for crying out loud. Go in there, like they have free issues for things like, so for preview issues, like I just picked up the Marvel previews because it was free, and
free's good.
Yeah, free's good because also that give me, like, I know what I'm getting now in October, like October, November,
Yeah,
because of this. And I'm like,
always a great way to keep up on stuff.
yeah. And I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna be getting a lot of comics. um, and if you do not have a local comic book store, one that is close enough to where you feel like you want to make the drive, Comixology, for crying out loud. Comixology. Go there, buy the comic books, or at the very least, if you got a local library, Hoopla, you can get free comic books on there. A lot of the free comic books are out there for free. I know DC does the trades on there, and then Archie Comics, it's like day and dates when it releases. It's on Hoopla. So like that's where I've read like I got caught up on Archie and then made sure I was caught up on Jughead and Betty and Veronica when that comes out, because I've been loving this new universe that they've created here with Mark Waid writing, and then they had Chip Zdarsky doing Jughead, and it went to Ryan North, and now Mark Waid is taking over Jughead, and all those stories, they were so good. They're really good stories and brilliant ways to bring in new readers to something that has a long history with it.
I can say that.
Yeah. All right, and that is going to do it for the ElseViews, and we will be right back with the Else Words.
For more on this Galactic Network podcast, go to gncast.com. That's GNCASTS.com.